Hello, welcome back to the TobanTalks podcast. Today is a very special episode. It is our first episode where we actually do an interview. I'm really stoked. Our guest is Michaela, our editor-in-chief at the Manitoban. Say hi.
Hi. Hi, Max. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. After the long trip in for this.
It's a hike.
Drag you all the way from wherever.
South of Winkler. So
okay.
yeah,
So a bit of a trip. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm excited to do this. I think we'll talk a little bit about how the Manitoban is shaping up and where we're kind of gonna push it. But to kind of give a little bit of a cue up. What is your role here at the Manitoban?
I'm the editor-in-chief.
Hey,
my job is to get the paper published.
Awesome.
But bottom line, I really am passionate about like student press though. So I think that like a background and an interest in that, I not only is my job to get the paper out, but it's to make sure that my editors can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
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 So that when you said the interest in student press, has that always kind of been a thing, or is it just kind of like adopted when you came to like was there like someone in high school where you kind of liked it, or was it just a university thing?
I thought when I started working for the Toban, I thought that this was just something that sprung out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But this past weekend, I was at a music festival, and one of the performers was my high school English teacher.
Oh, no way.
And I was there with like a camera, and she goes like, "Oh, the journalism bug bit you," and I was like, "What do you mean?" Wait, you're actually so right. Because in high school, I was on like a publication that my teacher had done.
Yeah.
With like some friends. It was like 5 people in this classroom, and we didn't even stay, like, it was maybe 5 hours of work a month. But that was my first like experience in journalism, and then I kind of tripped into the Toban. And then I don't know, I do like publication. I like having physical media.
Yeah.
And obviously digital stuff is really cool. Yeah. And I think that like I don't know, I like to collect newspapers.
Yeah.
My house is full of free presses. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's something that I didn't think I had a passion for until all of a sudden I look back on like my past and what I do in my own personal life. I'm like, wait, hold on. Actually, I do have a passion for press.
Yeah. That's kind of my like I worked at, obviously it was on my resume, but I worked at CJOB.
Yeah.
And yeah, at first it was just kind of like an audio editor thing where it was like opping the board or whatever, and then some weekends they had the morning weekend hosts would have the editors in the newscast come on air to do a little bit of hosting like side by side, and I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did, and then it kind of again spiraled into a little bit of but like I never thought I'd be hosting a podcast, and and here we are. But yeah, so did you starting the Manitoban? Did you start at what was your first role? What did you start off as?
This is a funny story. This can be a long story.
Perfect.
Because I had like a little bit of background in journalism from my high school magazine that we did. Shout out the Torch. I don't think it's an operation anymore. I don't think it exists.
Shout out the long dead.
Yeah, I think it died with us. But I applied for a few positions. I applied for I applied for news reporter, arts and culture reporter, and I think comment.
Okay.
Comment reporter or columnist.
Yeah.
And then I also just stuck it in there, design associate. I just shoehorned that in. I was like, I like to do like layouts of stuff.
Yeah.
It's something I like to do. I'm graphic design is my passion.
Hey.
One might say. But I just shoehorned that in there, and then I got rejected for everything but design associate.
Oh. So the one you kind of like snuck in there is the one that stuck. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was really cool. It was a cool team that my first year, but it was kind of like I like to do graphic design, and also I think part of the reason why I didn't necessarily get hired as a reporter my first year was I had just come out of high school. It was 2020, and my writing style had not developed at all in the slightest. So it was I was very green, and I did ask like the reporters or the editors. I was like, so what should I do to be better at this? And then they would be helpful, and they'd be very nice, and they would go like, yeah, no worries, you should probably not do this instead. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm very similar with the writing style. I like much more free flow content when I produce it. Yeah, no script. Imagine. It's nice being able to have a much more conversational kind of medium that I tend to flourish a little bit more in, having someone to kind of bounce off of. Even in like the first episode we did of the Toban, of the TobanTalks, my brain kept trying to script everything before it came out of my mouth, and I had to keep like retrying, and then I just kind of clicked where it's like just talk, just free flow. So I'm totally on board with that whole. Scripts are hard. Scripts are so hard to do.
Scripts are hard. You can ask my multiple film profs.
So you started off design associate. Is this your first year as editor-in-chief?
Yes, this is my first year as EIC. Okay. I was design associate for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then another year, and then here I am.
Oh, that's cool. So was this kind of like editor-in-chief, was it a goal, or was it just kind of something that just came along? Like, did you aspire to be editor-in-chief, or were you completely content just being in the design associate position?
I think I really liked the position of design associate.
Yeah.
I had a great time, and I think that I had a good experience last year with it being in person.
Yeah.
Because my first 2 years at the Toban were fully online. That was a very, for me, it was a very isolating experience at the Toban. I was like, oh, the Manitoban is something that's far off and distant and exists on my screen in a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And then last year it became tangible. And I think that, I'd be happy to be involved in the Manitoban in any position.
Yeah.
And I think with the skills I've gained throughout, my degree, through my own experience in my professional life in other ways, I think that I couldn't do everything in the Toban, but I won't do everything in the Toban. But I think that I would be prepared to step into roles besides EIC in the Toban, but I think that this was not the goal. This was just... It
just kind of got sprung on you.
It didn't really get sprung on me, but it was something that happened, and here I am. Yeah. I'm having a good time.
Good. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, and I guess the position, you're well suited for the position.
Thank you.
But it's really cool when those higher up positions just kind of offer themselves up. Even if it's not something that was totally anticipated. So that's awesome. As editor-in-chief, is there any? Do you have any goals for the paper? The big, small, even just specific stories you want to cover. Is there something down the road by the end of the year you want to achieve?
Oh, yes. I will say if I say things, then they don't often turn out. But I'll talk.
Tread lightly.
I've got a team of people that are really capable, and I think they're really good at what they're doing. So even if I share and I somehow jinx it, they're gonna get it done.
They're covered. They'll get it covered.
You guys will get it done. I really I think that a big chunk of student press, because we're unique because we're a student paper.
Yes.
We talk about the U of M. We're U of M centered. We're on the campus. I would like to kind of bring the paper home a little bit. Not that it has run away in any extent in previous years, but I think that really taking a magnifying glass on the U of M and its community would be really, really valuable in the that's kind of a goal of mine in this year.
Yeah.
As design associate, I formatted a lot of the paper in not a lot of it each night, but it would be kind of, I would do a lot of looking at the paper and the content matter and what was in it. So I would see oh, this is cool, but I wish that we would talk about the things that are happening on campus that aren't necessarily crazy thing happens on campus.
Yeah.
It's an interesting place, even if it can be a little bit mundane.
Yeah. No, I think there's stories within the mundane that can still, right? If you look at things from too wide of a lens, sometimes you miss a lot of the intricacies that go on. So I 100% agree with that you can kind of narrow it down, whether it be students or events or anything like that. So would you kind of man on the street style interviewing students?
Yeah, we did.
Going out. We were talking about some stuff. If the one we pitched with the Halloween thing, if we could do a man on the street interviewing haunted locations in U of M,
there's a lot.
finding the ghosts and interviewing them, I would love that so much. I'm a huge Halloween guy, so I think there'd be
I am too.
Okay.
I'm a big Halloween guy too, so
we need more of them. We need more of them.
I I feel like that in my like friend group, there's a lot of people that do really like how it's like our second Christmas.
Yes, that's like my family too.
Yeah, Halloween. It's like, oh wow,
Yeah.
it's so I'm prepping already.
Good.
That was a digression.
No, it's perfect. Well, yeah, like those kind of like neat little like one-offs. I'm kind of excited for, and I hope that it kind of like helps push some of the ideas that you wanna kind of spread through it too.
I was gonna add also to that with like the Man on the Street stuff. I want the Manitoban to be, people are aware of it all the time, even if it's a little bit annoying. Maybe not annoying is the right word for it, but we have all these tools, we have all these editors, we have all these avenues of content.
Yes.
I think that we should use it to our at least to a maybe not the fullest extent, because I don't believe that we should. I think that rest is really important, but also like when we can use them.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. Like the physical medium, even just like seeing the papers in the stalls is always awesome. Like knowing that things are around and things are happening, and then like the digital for like when you're at home or when you're traveling on the road or whatever. I think covering a lot of bases for this type of stuff is great, and I want to do a lot more interview style stuff with the other editors.
Exciting.
I'm excited to cover it and like what stories they want to cover or covering or anything like that. And speaking of stories, I had one question that I wanted to ask. Is there a story that you wished you could have covered before you were editor-in-chief?
Oh man, that's a good question.
Because you said you wanted to be part of arts and culture and things like that. If there's anything that popped up that you're like, man, I wish I was in that role.
Okay, this is the article that never happened.
Okay.
Kevin Smith came to town last year.
Okay.
For a screening of, nobody quote me on this. The screening of what the movie was didn't matter to me. What mattered is that I wanted to interview Kevin Smith so badly because.
Once in a lifetime opportunity.
And he loves Winnipeg. He's a little whatever. Sorry, Kevin Smith, if you're watching. He seems to really like Canada, and I was like, what if like I just cold emailed him? And I did, and I got no response because I had no I'm the design associate at the paper, and I was at the time volunteering at UMFM, and I was like, I don't know if I could convince UMFM to let me
slide it in there.
Let me slide in there, and it was like with my student email, it definitely got sent to junk mail.
It's still sitting there somewhere.
It definitely still is sitting. I'm pretty sure. It's sitting in there. But I really have an interest in movies, and I think that
me too.
Yeah. I thought like especially. I'm not good with horror movies, but Tusk is a crazy movie, and it takes place in Manitoba. I was like, that I feel is really interesting. I want to get inside that mind and why.
And why would you make a movie like that?
Did he go to rural Manitoba? I don't know. I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, because I have a bit of background in film. I went to school once already, and I came out as a sound designer and for some live stuff for film and stuff like that. So I have a huge passion for movies, especially ones that happen in Manitoba. So it would be really cool if we could get stories on here that are around U of M students doing various film projects.
Maybe not Kevin Smith.
Maybe not Kevin Smith.
Sorry.
We'll shoot for the stars and take what we get.
We'll shoot for the stars and we'll land at UM filmmakers.
Hey, but I'd love to get some like local talent and local creators on, and like maybe even get out to film festivals.
Yes.
And get some interviews down on film festivals as well.
Really cool. U of M is a really cool filming school. One of my profs has tapped me to do a filmmaking class, and for the longest time I've been dragging my feet. But I think I'm gonna actually do it this year.
Yeah?
I would like to take a film. Winnipeg's becoming a cool place for like filmmaking. I've heard. So.
It is. There's a bit of a tangent because this is my realm. Manitoba, it has a huge tax incentive for American, Canada in general, but Manitoba especially, for foreign, including American films to come up and film in Manitoba and in Winnipeg, and to expand on that, they opened up. Is it called Blue Sky? There's a massive. It's essentially like a giant warehouse.
Yes,
basically.
I heard of it. Yeah,
and
they do
all
like
that's
ADR
in there.
stuff.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
It's just like sound stages, construction stages, all this sort of stuff,
really
and it's
cool.
literally like a straight shot from the cargo hold at the airport. So the idea behind it, the idea behind it is to land all the planes and then just ship them out, ship all the cargo immediately out to this warehouse, and then just film like
They
the
should
next day.
stay here. They should have that in like the Fort Garry area.
Yeah.
So for no selfish reason whatsoever.
So I could use
So
it.
I can go for a little wander and see what's happening there.
happens.
I love set design. So
So it's really cool that
Okay.
Winnipeg, because they shot that action movie Nobody,
yes, they did.
and they're doing another one.
And they did Nobody too.
They're doing Nobody 2 now, and so they did almost all of Nobody 1 in Winnipeg, I'm pretty sure.
If that sounds right. Yeah, that sounds
They
right.
did a lot of it here,
And
which
they had
is
John Travolta
awesome.
in town.
Yes,
for
they had one
something.
for I can't remember what it was called.
They were at the Red
Um,
something. It was but this is a major digression. The JFK assassination, I think.
oh yeah, I can't remember what the movie's about, but it's something to do with
Yeah,
that.
we'll stick a pin in that.
Yeah,
We'll find out when it comes out,
Yeah,
and we'll go.
we'll do a movie review.
That's
on
the U
it.
of M.
We'll do a movie review.
You know what? Hey, I like that. Movie reviews of Winnipeg movies.
So kind of going forward with some stuff on the paper, we have a few stories brewing up right now that have come out in the last paper.
Yes.
The direction that the paper is kind of going with trying to focus more on like the campus life. Are you wanting to like go more into like faculty stuff with stuff happening in like the classes, or even just like life in general with like students milling about?
I've had some profs reach out with to talk about their classes and their course loads,
Okay.
and I think that's really really cool. I like to talk about research. We're a good research school, so I think that having our research be platformed is
Yeah.
really interesting. Sometimes it can get kind of like, and then we get another researcher
Yeah.
award, but it still is really cool.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think that going into the research, that kind of goes hand in hand with like the student experience,
Mm-hmm.
because it's students that are students and faculty
Yeah.
that are doing this research, and I think
Yeah.
that this person might have gotten an award. Let's talk about this person and how they got that award.
Yeah.
And like the research itself is cool. I will say I love science too, so that's something really cool. But I think that like connecting the two, making the two aren't as distant as we think they are
No.
sometimes. I do also really like student experience. Pipe dream is to have a classified section in the paper.
Yes, that would be a lot of fun to be able to like send in like anonymous messages.
It might be hell for me to edit though.
Yeah, you know what, maybe. but
We'll see.
maybe we'll take a crack at it and then see what happens.
We'll
but
see.
That'll be fun. But yeah, to that note of the science, like covering like the research topics and stuff like that, I would love to cover more of that type of stuff, the stuff that comes out of the school, because I
Yes.
think science communication right now is at a bit of a low point. So I think having news coverage, because it sucks, but not a lot of like news covers in-depth research that happens and stuff like that. So I think tying in the idea of like news coverage of the school with what studies are coming out of the school could definitely go hand in hand. And I think that would be awesome to be able to do a bit of a science communication aspect to it, to kind of going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so our R&T reporter is also
Yes.
very big on like U of M centered stuff.
Yes.
So she was like, I think the most recent one is her recent article this week is, oh no, it was last week. It was on cosmoculture.
Yeah, the
with
cosmopolitan culture, yeah.
cosmopolitan culture.
And how-
That was really interesting.
It was really interesting, and how like I think I mentioned it in the first episode, but it was really cool to see kind of that idea of how like marketability ties into cosmopolitan culture and like globalization and stuff, and like the pros and cons behind it and all this type of stuff. But yeah, I definitely think there needs to be a little bit more science communication in papers. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No science. Science rules, as Bill Nye once said.
Yeah. Hey, I can't. Believe I'm going into a science faculty, so
Yeah.
there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. So with kind of the pushing of the paper out on campus, what is it like getting the paper from the actual production, like in here, out to distributing? Because like some people it just kind of shows up. But what is like break down kind of the process behind the scenes between how it kind of takes that trail.
The story of how a paper is created starts on a Wednesday night in our storyboard meeting, and then we pitch our ideas. It actually starts a little bit before then sometimes, depending on if you have a story like back thinking of. Pitch our ideas for each section, and then it turns into a very busy week for everyone. Weekend it's a weekend. Write, edit, write.
Yeah.
Edit. I think I'm getting the right amount of writing and editing in there.
It's like 5?
There's 5 steps of it, but it often only goes through 4.
Okay.
So, around four steps of editing that it goes through in the paper. And then on our production night, Monday, when we do our ed board meeting beforehand, kind of make sure the paper's all good. And then from there it gets actually put into the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Generally it's on Monday. Sometimes it starts Sunday, sometimes it starts Monday, depending on if people if the machine works smoothly.
Cogs are all oiled.
Yeah, if the cogs are oiled, we can get it happening on Sunday already. But and then that can be a pretty long process. I helped with that for 3 years.
So you know the nitty gritty of it all.
Yeah, dragging and dropping and making sure that everything's all lined up, and I miss it, but it's fun. It's fun.
Awesome.
But it's and then we also do the copy editing for more like time sensitive stuff like news that night. And then we generally end pretty late, but that's kind of how news works sometimes. Okay. And then gets printed, and then it shows up magically. Not magically.
It just disappears off the desks, and everyone's hands.
No, and then our distributor takes it on generally Wednesday or Thursday, and then brings it around.
Nice, because obviously part of Toban, but we're the digital team, so we don't get to see our production schedule is a little different. Yeah,
your production schedule is not.
It's record on cameras and microphones, and then put it on computers, and then put it on more computers. And then more computers,
and then it gets put to everyone's computers. Yeah. Little computers.
Or phones, or wherever you watch this. Yeah, and so it's really cool seeing the behind the scenes, because like I said, my experience to press was radio, and like a little bit of digital news, because CJOB is partnered with Global.
Oh, okay, that's what they're... Okay, got it.
So
I didn't know that. What am I...
Yeah.
Why am I surprised? Yeah. I knew that in the back of my head.
So like the news cycle there was very different from how it is here, because this is like physical, and you have to print everything, and the times are all different for the cycles of stories and stuff. So it's really interesting seeing the dichotomy between like a radio station / news broadcast and then paper, and how both of them function.
Have different. I know. And my summer job also was at a radio station, so I had the same experience of and then I press enter on the article, and it's just up
there.
It's just
anyone can read it now.
It's just there now. So that's kind of like it's kind of you get the best of both worlds, like Hannah Montana. Hey. You get the best of both worlds. You gotta have the more like. Not that the newspaper isn't rapid, but the more like...
But like radio and the news broadcast is very like...
Yeah,
like if there's breaking news, like you get it like...
You get it then.
That
And then and then it's out in like 10 minutes.
Even like sometimes there was times at the station where it's like we're waiting for a story. Okay, we go to commercial break. Yeah. Oh, the story happens. All right, we come out of commercial break immsediately, and then break that story, and then go back into whatever was.
You're in it
planned.
now.
Yeah, it's whereas here it's like if some sort of breaking story, it's like you kind of have to wait for the.
Unless it happens very, very coincidentally with like the Monday of our production night.
So has anything major happened like that you can remember, where like some sort of big breaking news happens literally like the day that? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I want to hear it.
So I might be misremembering this in chunks, but the strike in 2021.
Okay.
The strike vote took place on that Monday of production night, and I remember working. It was on Zoom, and I was thinking like. I was like dragging it. I think I was kind of out of the loop a little bit at this point, because it was late in the night, and I think we discussed like 2 different covers. Or no, maybe it might have been a storyboard, but it was very much like turnaround, like the strike's happening, and we were going to be like the main like way that folks found out about it to an extent.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think that the Prof had emailed people already, and it was already like brewing for a while. But it was kind of closest to ground zero I've gotten.
Yeah, so like job. You guys were very much in
the
mix with like major.
I'm not certain we were on actual production night, because we had a graphic made up for it. So I think it was Dallin that was doing graphics at the time. made maybe an alternate cover fully. I was doing arts and sports, so I was just sweating bullets while trying to lay out album covers. But yeah, it was a really, honestly, it kind of sold me on the Manitoban and how like integral it can be to like student experience.
It could be a bit of an adrenaline kick.
Oh yeah,
in the breaking, like with the radio bit, like. If something breaks, like you have to like get on time with everything, and then like it's stressful in the moment and it cools down, and it's like that was good coverage.
Yeah, hey,
it's almost addicting, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
something happens, you're like, hey, we actually did this great.
Yeah, and it's like, and when people like when you get responses where people are like, hey, loved your coverage of this, like think you guys handled this well, yada yada yada, then it feels satisfying having covered that. So maybe this year there'll be a few extra. Breaking news. Maybe, hopefully nothing too extreme.
Knock on wood, nothing too dramatic. Not like news is news, but I want everyone to be happy and healthy and safe.
Yeah, more priority than anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so 2 questions. I guess 1 question, but it's like a 2-parter.
Yeah.
If you had unlimited budget, first one is you can spend it on one thing for the office, whatever that is, and other thing specifically for the paper. Like development of the paper, whether it be like computers, whatever. Okay. Unlimited budget, 1 item or 1 thing for the office, 1 for the paper. What would it be?
Okay, for the paper, this is to make the paper run, I would be looking at either I feel like it's a little bit boring, but the hiring of more positions, more reporters and more associates and more staff. And then I guess that would also be Adobe subscription. Adobe subscription. I forgot how much Adobe costs.
It's bad.
Sorry, Adobe.
It's really bad.
We're probably using Adobe to edit this. Adobe's really pricey. For the office, unlimited budget, this is a really good question because there's 2 wolves in me, and one's saying like, furniture, make the space like cozy and nice. Pretty. Make it pretty to be in. And the other wolf is saying like, we should probably like organize the office. And the wolf that's saying we should organize the office is agreeing with the one that says we should make it pretty. And I think it sounds ridiculous, but like organization and storage. We have we have a lot of archives sitting in the office, and I think that they don't do anyone justice sitting behind my desk.
More easier access for like reference and stuff like that.
Cool. And some hard drives.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. Yeah, that's a perfect answer.
Hard drives for the Toban.
Awesome. Cool. Well, that kind of wraps it up. Thank you for joining us for the first interview. That was an absolute blast.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Perfect. That's what we aim for. And thank you for watching or listening or whatever you're doing to consume this media. Let us know what you know about. Tell us what you think about this. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.